She was already in the middle of my driveway, standing there like she owned the place, swinging a clipboard around like she was ready for a sword fight. "You can't put that gate here," she screamed, her voice echoing all the way across the old gravel road. And let me tell you, I'd only been back 3 days. 3 days since I moved onto the land my grandfather built with his bare hands. I'd finally bought it back from the county, thought I'd found peace. No HOA, no rules, just sunrise over the fields in my own quiet patch of Texas. But yeah, that's how it started. No warning. Just her, Karen. She stomped closer, sunglasses flashing like cop lights. The whole scene almost comical, except I knew it was about to get ugly. "This whole area is under the Meadow Creek HOA," she barked, her mouth set in that permanent scowl only certain people can master. "You have to pay your dues and remove that gate immediately." Honestly, I nearly laughed out loud. I just stared at her, feeling a headache build behind my eyes, but I kept it polite. "Ma'am, this land was never part of Meadow Creek. You can check the county records," I said, and that was me being gentle. She shot me a death glare, whipped out her phone, and started recording like she was about to go viral. "You're harassing an HOA board member," she snapped. "I'll report you. You can't just build things without approval." And her voice, man, it carried. Even the crows in the trees looked up. Inside, I was fuming, half mad, half stunned this was even happening. I'd left the city just to escape these kind of power trips. Then she did something wild. Walked right up to my brand new steel gate, the one I spent all of Saturday installing, grabbed the keypad, and yanked it like it was her own. "Open this right now," she hollered. The lock didn't budge. I pressed the remote in my pocket, just to prove a point, and the gate stayed firm as a mountain. I try not to let my voice shake. "You're trespassing," I told her. "Please leave before this gets worse." Her face turned a shade of red that would make a fire truck jealous. "You think you're smarter than the HOA?" she hissed, practically spitting. "We can have you evicted." Evicted from my own ranch. I just smiled slow, let it hang there, then said, "Try it. But make sure your paperwork's real this time." That stopped her for half a second, probably because I was too calm for her liking. But see, I wasn't just some city guy with a truck and a dream. I'd spent 15 years in county land enforcement. I'd seen every game, every dirty trick. Karen didn't back down. She jabbed her phone in my direction again. "Fine, I'm calling the sheriff. We'll see how long that gate stays up." She spun on her heel, stomped back to her SUV, dust rising around her ankles like steam. As she left, I caught my own reflection in her window, looking tired but ready. I could feel it. This wasn't over. Not by a mile. Next morning, I woke to the sound of tires crunching gravel. White pickup parked by my gate. Big Meadow Creek, HOA enforcement painted on the side in blue. Karen stood out front, talking to 2 guys in reflective vests, one of them already holding bolt cutters like he was about to get a medal for it. I walked out, heartbeat thumping but face cool as ever. "You might want to stop right there," I called, voice carrying enough to make them look up. The guy paused, looked at Karen for backup. She grinned, lips thin as wire. "He's not authorized to install that gate," she said. "This property violates HOA community access rules." The dude hesitated. You could see it in his eyes. He didn't want any part of this mess. He looked down at his clipboard. "This is parcel 47B, right?" he asked. That was my moment. I pulled a folded paper from my jacket, waved it slow. "Nope," I said, holding out, "this is parcel 47C, county land outside your HOA boundary." He took it, started reading. Karen's eyes darted everywhere, looking for a way out. "She's lying," she snapped. "This entire area was annexed last year." I took one step closer, lowered my voice so only she could hear. "Show me the annexation file, Karen." Dead silence. The workers shuffled awkwardly. Then one finally muttered, "Ma'am, we can't cut this without proper authorization." Karen's jaw clenched tight. "Fine, I'll call the county myself." She stomped off, heels stabbing the dirt, hair flying, leaving her little army behind. I just leaned against the fence, pretended not to notice my own drone hovering quietly above the gate post, catching every second of her circus. By noon, 2 sheriff's cruisers pulled up, dust swirling behind them. Karen, right on their tail, looking like she'd already won the Super Bowl. "There!" she shouted, fingers stabbing the air at me. "That man's blocking public access. He's aggressive, possibly armed." A deputy approached, hand resting on his belt, giving me that careful look. I nodded, kept my hands where he could see. "Of course, officer," I said, "but before you say anything, maybe check this." I handed him my phone. Live drone footage. Karen trespassing, screaming, yanking at my gate like it was a piñata. The deputy's face changed. "Ma'am, you touched his gate," he said flat. Karen sputtered. "It's not even legal." "He's not. He can't." The other deputy checked my deed, then looked right at her. "This ranch is outside HOA jurisdiction, ma'am." He turned serious. "If you interfere with this property again, you'll be cited for trespassing." Karen looked like she'd swallowed a cactus. "You can't do this to me. I'm on a board." The officer gave her a look I'll never forget. "You're not on any board that matters here." She stormed off, eyes burning holes through me, but I could tell by the way she kept glancing back. She wasn't done. That night, as the wind picked up and rattled the old barn doors, I sat on the porch, hot coffee in hand, watching my security feed. The fields were nothing but shadows and crickets until I caught a flicker by the far fence. I zoomed in. Sure enough, Karen's neon jacket glowed like a beacon, and right next to her, a guy in what looked like a uniform, badge flashing under his flashlight. "So," she brought back up. I muttered, standing up slow. "They climbed the fence like it was their birthright," Karen whispering, the fake cop pulling out a crowbar. I hit record on my drone, grabbed my keys, and drove down the lane, headlights blazing. I caught them red-handed, the fake cop dropping his crowbar like a hot potato. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I shouted. Karen straightened her jacket, tried to play it cool. "You're under inspection," she snapped. "This officer is here to remove an illegal obstruction." I laughed. "Illegal? You're trespassing again, and that guy isn't even a real cop." The man stepped forward, voice shaky. "Sir, calm down, or I'll have to detain you." I walked right up to him, eyes locked. "Go ahead, but make sure your badge number matches the sheriff's database, because I'll be checking." He froze, glancing at Karen. She hissed something, but he'd already had enough and took off down the road. She glared daggers at me. "You don't scare me," she spat. "This isn't over." She left in a cloud of dust, SUV fishtailing down the road. My phone buzzed, motion alert. The drone caught everything. Her fake cop, the crowbar, the trespass. I backed it up to a private cloud, took a deep breath, and told myself, Karen wanted a war? She just got one. What she didn't realize was I still had friends at the sheriff's department, good ones. By sunrise, every second of that footage was in the county's hands. But the next morning, I stepped outside and something felt wrong. The gate was still there, but my mailbox? Gone, ripped right out of the dirt and nailed to a post. On it, a bright red eviction notice. Karen's name scrawled across it like a 5-year-old's art project. I stood there, staring, hands shaking, not from fear, but from how ridiculous it all was. She'd finally crossed the line. The notice was fake, every bit as real as her authority. I actually smiled, then pulled out my phone and called Deputy Harris, old friend, solid guy. Sent him the drone footage, fake cop's face, and a snapshot of the so-called eviction letter. 5 minutes later, "Don't touch anything. We're on our way." That's all he said. I sat back down on my porch and waited. Didn't have to wait long. Blue lights on the horizon, Karen's SUV rolling and hot. She jumped out, ready to explode. "You called them on me," she shrieked. I opened my mouth, but Harris beat me to it. "Ma'am, are you Karen Walters?" She puffed out her chest. "Yes, and I represent the Meadow Creek HOA. Harris cut her off, voice cool as winter. "You're under arrest for trespassing, property damage, and impersonation of a government officer. We've confirmed that man you brought wasn't law enforcement." Her mouth dropped open. "What? You can't arrest me. I'm protecting this neighborhood." Harris looked her straight in the eye, then nodded to me. "Ma'am, this ranch isn't part of your neighborhood." She tried to argue, but the cuffs were already out. As they led her away, she twisted around for one last glare. "You think you've won?" I just looked past her, out over the land my grandfather cleared, the sun setting gold behind my gate. A week later, A real letter came from the actual county office. Not an eviction, not a threat, an apology. Karen's HOA had been under investigation for months. Fake dues, forged papers, harassment. My evidence was the last nail in the coffin. That night, I welded the gate shut, rebuilt my mailbox, and hung a small sign that read, "Private property. No Karen zone." As dusk fell, I leaned on the fence, felt the wind settle down for the first time in years. I'd seen wars in other countries, seen men grab for power, but nothing in the world compares to the feeling of fighting for your own piece of ground and knowing you won. I didn't come back to this ranch to pick a fight, but I'll be damned if I let someone steal what my family built just because she thinks rules don't apply to her. Justice? It's not always noisy. Sometimes it's just the sound of your gate clicking shut, the land quiet behind you, and the knowledge that tonight, at least tonight, it's yours. So tell me, what would you have done? Have you ever tangled with someone who just couldn't take a hint? Drop a comment below, share your wildest HOA showdown, or your thoughts on what justice really looks like out here. And if you think property rights still matter, let me know where you stand. Because out here, the only thing stronger than a locked gate is a neighbor who refuses to back down.